I'm Peter Ponzol, the designer and developer of the Antigua Pro-One saxophone, the saxophone for the 21st century. This saxophone represents all the ideas that I've had in my head for the last 20 years. As many of you know, I've been developing saxophones with unique ideas since 1980 for different companies in France and Germany, Italy. And this is the culmination of those ideas plus the ideas that I had that could never be done before. And they're all out this saxophone, everything. One of the first things that I did for the Pro-One was to develop a completely new neck for the alto and for the tenor. For the tenor particularly has a slightly different angle. A lot of tenor saxophone necks cause you to play like this, which closes off your windpipe and makes for a lot more resistance. This, just a change in the angle, makes you open up your windpipe, and there's a much freer sound that comes from it. We have found a different kind of brass mixture that is very similar to the brass used in the French saxophones from the 50s. It has a little more copper, and it's just a warmer sound with a lot more projection than most of the new saxophones. Some of the really important features, and I don't have enough time to go into every one of them, but some of the features we did was what we call hybrid rolled tone holes. Saxophones have been made since the 20s with rolled tone holes, and they have certain advantages in that the pad lasts longer because it doesn't have a sharp impression in it. But my opinion, all the years I worked with different companies that made rolled tone hole saxophones, was that the sound tended to spread too much when every tone hole was rolled. So what we did was this: we found that the important place to have rolled tone holes is on the bottom notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that makes the low notes much easier to play. The pads last longer, and we still have here regular tone holes. And what that happens there is that you have the advantages in the bottom of the rolled tone holes, but you have the same directness without the sound being too spread. It's just very even and very easy to play up and down the horn, and has a very similar resistance from top to bottom. Then something that's really interesting that we've done, and for this we actually have a patent for, and that's these Trident Arms, which are on 1, 2, 3 keys. And what they do, we all know the low notes are hard to play on the saxophone, especially the tenor. You have your little finger up here controlling those notes, which is not a very strong finger. And then it's moving a mechanism, a linkage that goes all the way down here. So if you don't have absolutely the right pressure on those keys, they tend to vibrate and flutter open a little bit, even though you don't realize it. And so with these arms, they are not soldered onto the cups, but they float above the cups with a small adjusting screw. With that, you can put just a little extra pressure that this comes closed and will not vibrate and flutter open. So the idea of it is to stabilize the vibrations on the low notes, and it makes the low notes much easier to play. I have never played a saxophone in my life that is so easy to subtone. Beautiful, really easy on the bottom. Another important feature for all saxophone players, we know about the sticking G sharp. This small lever makes the G sharp come open. You play it in a regular way. This has no effect on how you play it, but it lifts the G sharp key up and can't stick. It must come open. There's a lot of other features on this saxophone. I could talk for the next hour about them and demonstrate all of them, but you really don't know like anything else until you go to the dealer and try the horn and play it. And I think you will be very impressed at what an incredible saxophone this is. Antigua Pro-One, the saxophone for the 21st century. Thank you.